Hello, Rekatini video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Hitmonlee here in the Go Battle League, and we are battling in the first few ranks here, and also we are battling while the game is completely broken. So definitely careful right now. I had a 9-game win streak here against some, of course, like lower level players yet. I'm definitely going to try to redo this kind of showcase later on, I think, like maybe at the end, like in like 2 weeks or whatever, at the end of Great League again. So we can actually take a look at this Pokemon with like A, half decent opponent, and B, while the game is actually working. Because if you played your battles in the first few hours now after the release of the new season, you might have seen as well that the game was completely unplayable. There were so many games that I didn't put in. There most likely going to be some games in there as well where the game was completely unplayable. There was nothing going on, nothing going forward. But we have to take a look at this later. Here my opponent starts a little bit late, but it's fine still, as they catch a move on the Charizard. Very good catch here. Perfect catch, but they still shield our Leaf Blade. So I guess it was just more an accidental catch there from the opponent, which is kind of funny. But yeah, in general, this team usually would be pretty interesting, would be a little bit weak, of course, to the Medicham. Maybe something different would be kind of good in the lead, but I'm not sure. Maybe a Ghost type in the lead would be a little bit better for this team, as you would be able to beat fighting types plus something like the NiDoQueen. But usually what you would do with this team, of course, is you have an ABB line. You kind of want to go out into your Say Swap a lot of times when you have a neutral lead. The Say Swap, of course, being your Surf Edge here, having access to stuff like the Night Slash, going to be able to get out those Ghost types that you cannot hit with your Hitmonlee in the back, and then trying to sweep endgame with the Hitmonlee. That's basically the main game plan for this team. But we have to see how it all goes, as we see a NiDoQueen in the lead here. This is totally fine, as they swap into a Victini, which is not really fine, because I don't know what Victini really can do. I mean, like, it's pretty decent against me here right now, so I don't really want to stay in here, but I kind of have to stay in here, and it's kind of awkward. So we can go for some body slams. I hope that I can get to another one, and I can get to another one. And now I actually am in a pretty decent spot, because now I can farm him down with my Hitmonlee. Hitmonlee is, by the way, the German word for Hitmonlee. So sorry I say that as well. Hitmonlee here going to be able to go for some very good fast moves there with a new double kick. And they go for one close combat here against NiDoQueen resisted, but it doesn't matter for this Hitmonlee, it doesn't matter. But look at this lag, by the way, there. I would have been able to get more moves off, definitely. And I think we have some lag here as well now. They go ahead, go for an Acid Spray, which is kind of interesting move, but I think we have some lag. Here, this charge move, it was already everything clunky. Here, this charge move coming through. Or is it coming through? Who knows if it's coming through? Because right now it's not coming through. And yeah, like, if you want to play right now, I wouldn't really recommend it to you if you are really down for elo and you want to do your best and you don't want to get annoyed by those kind of lags. Just wait one day or like half a day or a few hours or whatever, and you should be way better off. Usually it's really horrible in the beginning of the season with lags, but this is, I think, the biggest like a mess up that I've ever seen. Like, I didn't see a single time it being that worse like it is here. Like, they usually figure it out and get it done, and after a few hours it's totally normal again. But right now it's definitely not normal, and I wouldn't really recommend you to play right now, at least if you want to gain some wins here. But look at this Victory Bell, look at this Licky Tongue. They're having a good time looking at each other. Reconnection is coming through. It was for both sides as well. It's not my internet connection or anything like this. It is for everybody on Twitter as well, as they go for one Leaf Tornado and I can go for one Body Slam KOing this thing. I can swap then into my Hitmonlee here, and Hitmonlee has, of course, also the coverage move of the Stone Edge if they have something else in the back, which doesn't really want, like, that does like to get hit by a Stone Edge here. This Altaria definitely does like to get hit by the Stone Edge, and it actually one-shots. You can see the potential of this thing as a closer though. Like, while it's not really the most meta mono or whatever, but you have close combat and Stone Edge, and it basically one-shots everything. Getting a shield advantage, for example, or like in general getting it into a position where you can farm down, get energy advantage, you're going to be golden with the Hitmonlee. Is going to do a lot of damage. But of course, if the game doesn't work, the game doesn't work, and you cannot really do anything about it. Hitmonlee can hit as many moves as it can if the game just lags. as we have more lag games coming, definitely. As we see here, the Swampert in the lead. I swap it into my little duck here with the Surf Edge because it's an ABB line. And we see a Charizard coming in. We can go for a Night Slash here and we can get a shield in this matchup as well, which is nice. We get the shield immediately, which is weird because he should let the first move go through, as the second one could be boosted, but this one isn't boosted. And we can actually just lick it down with the Lickitung. They just go for one more Air Slash for whatever reason. They run Air Slash on their Shadow Charizard. Literally the worst possible move that they could have chosen. I think every other one would have been way better. But we can go for one Body Slam here against this Swampert, or we can just lag here against the Swampert. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? Lickitung doesn't know either. Look at the whipping around, as the charge move didn't do any damage. Very cool for me. Like, why? They go for Warren Hydrook and now we have to shield up. We see some more weak connection. We can farm it down like just barely because of the lag. As we see a Staraptor coming in. Can we get to the move or can they just farm me down? We can just barely get to the move. I was really worrying that I cannot just throw my move because it happened before. The first set I played with this team, which is not included here because it was so unplayable. I had like games where I literally couldn't attack. Like I saw my opponent farming down a little bit, I couldn't attack, I couldn't do anything. I had one game that I won where it came down to the timer. My team is super squishy in my backline. I have one half-ish decent bulky Pokemon with the Lickitung, but my team wasn't bulky. My opponent's team wasn't bulky. We were just lagging and standing around for the entire game, and this kind of changes stuff, of course. So yeah, again, usually it's always in the beginning that it's a little bit laggy, but this kinda is insanely laggy, so I wouldn't really recommend you to play right now, but it is still fine. It's early season. You can also just play, but just don't get annoyed at the lags right now. I hope that they're going to fix it soon, but I'm pretty sure they will fix it soon. As we can go for a Night Slash and we're going to be able to get the boost with our Surf Edge, which is amazing, as a Surf Edge really appreciates the boost and we can just go into town and do a lot of damage with this Pokemon now. We can go ahead, shield this move up, and we can also go for one more Leaf Blade here. We should be able to get the final shield by the opponent. I don't think they're going to let this move go through and they're going to shield this move. I tried to swap onto the Lickitung and it worked out perfectly. And now I can go into my Hitmonlee and I can farm him down. Actually, I didn't expect that the fast move he does so much more damage than like in general it does more damage. It's basically, I think, the same as counter actually. You just need one more turn around of the damage output, at least it seems like it. We see here the Night Slash coming through and we can actually easily finish off the opponent here with our Surf Edge, being a good duck. By the way, you saw it on the bottom right there. If you didn't know yet, you should go into your shop before you start doing your battles. On the shop, you're going to be able to find a free battle pass ticket for the Go Battle League for the season, where you have to win in total of 500 battles. That's pretty damn average, I think. Like usually, like if you play every set, you should be able to get every 500 around halfway through the season. So I guess even for people who don't play as much, it's definitely achievable to get the battle pass done. What you're going to get are like definitely elite fast and elite charge TM for free, which is very cool. I still wish the battle pass would be a little bit more, I don't know, better variety more there, instead of just giving a small piece of Stardust, but it's definitely way better than anything else which we had before, so I'm pretty happy with this as well. It's just a good addition to have something like this. I hope that we're going to expand this in the future. As we see a Noctowl coming in here, we can go for one close combat, and this close combat should be enough to KO the opponent. As we can see here, the Noctowl goes down. We see a Diggersby does one close combat do enough damage against this super bulky Pokemon. It actually does, which I didn't expect, but Diggersby cannot stand a single close combat. And this is a cool thing about the Hitmonlee, like it literally just one-shots everything that it comes against. So I really want to play it later on again in the season. So yeah, you're going to get a new video for this thing someday soon, as we can go still for one Leaf Blade here against the Sylveon, getting the shield, and we can go into our Lickitung, aligning the Charm user against our Lick user, and we can then still have our Fighting type in the back, which hopefully going to be able to sweep endgame. We have to see. As one charge move coming through, they're going for their charge move. We're going to shield this move up because we kind of want to throw some shields up there. As we catch the Dazzling Gleam there, they don't even run the Moonblast, which is not the right move. You should run Moonblast instead of Dazzling Gleam on your Sylveon, but it's fine. What is not fine is this Pokemon that I have seen here on the screen. Like literally, when I saw this, I couldn't. Like I literally couldn't. But I actually don't really blame the trainer here. What I blame here is Niantic's job of showcasing the data, because you're seeing something like a Zen Headband Deoxys is something that I would never really imagined. But if you see it like in game, you're going to see that the counter in the Zen Headbutt does exactly the same damage in game there on the statistics. And of course, you're going to choose a step move instead of counter. So for people who don't know, that counter is literally one of the best, if not the best, fast move in the game. Zen Headbutt, it seems like the right decision, because they didn't know it literally doesn't generate energy and it's a 3-turn move. So yeah, I hope Niantic someday going to fix that, so people actually see in game already how good the stuff is, and they don't have to go straight for PvP poke, because otherwise they have no chance. As we see a Girafarig here, which is going to be very cool, as we can go for a lot more body slams against this thing. It's a pretty squishy one, Girafarig, but has a cool, unique I don't know, standing there, having access to Confusion and the Psychic Fangs, basically the same as Swoobert, which I kind of also want to showcase someday. Swoobert looks pretty cool. But I make a weird swap there into the Hitmonlee, but it doesn't really matter, because we just have the good coverage move here. So I'm going to just one-shot this, and we can one-shot this Girafarig here as well. As we should go now to the final game, which is definitely the worst game out of them all. I kept this for last. This was what killed my 9-game win streak. We have a decent lead here, like not a decent lead, but it's a normal lead. But you see already the licks look pretty weird, because usually you don't really see the Lickitung looking back there. We get the body slam off at the same time as they go for the psychic. The difference here are 2 seconds or 4 turns between the body slam and the psychic. They got this for free. We see some nice lag here. We see like everything going to town. It was so very nice to play this game, as we see here that this charge move doesn't even do any kind of damage when this hits. Yeah, it just didn't even get the damage through. Thanks. We try to get to some moves here. They go to the Nidoqueen, and yeah, like you see, I think that there might be some kind of problems with this gameplay here, so we can try to go for one more Leaf Blade. Let's see if this is going to do more damage. The duck is a very cool Pokemon, but I kind of want to see my charge move landing. Let's see how it goes for this, as we see them. I don't know what's happening actually. We see here that the duck is just standing around. They go for the charge move, and I can go for another charge move immediately after. This is exactly how it happened. I didn't cut anything, and they just go for a charge move, and I was like, okay, this is over. I don't want to play this anymore. I'm just going to quit for now. And yeah, this is going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Don't play the game right now. Literally, it's just not worth it. Give it like 2-3 hours and it should be fine. But like right now, it's just not worth it.